I've never seen it from that perspective before. Like well trained by her family. I mean,
That's your dad's fault.
that's gonna get a lot of people's backs up, especially some obviously there might be some women that listen to this that might not have had a dad.
And
Like the dad might not have been around. And I've noticed that from my own dating life that if I've dated a girl who's come from and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, it's like a broken home,
yeah.
and the dad's been absent for periods of time, the level of trauma that girl's got in her life has made it more difficult and has brought up triggers within me from my childhood. So how does that affect a woman then, not having a father?
Here's the thing, what a lot of men and women do, when they have an absent father, they remove the pain of it by destroying his reputation. By saying, I hate him, he was a prick, he was this, he was that. Fine, he might be Ted Bundy, he might be the worst person on the planet. Doesn't change the fact that you needed two parents growing up. And the lack of one parent is still traumatic. So how they defend themselves is by saying they didn't need their dad, they don't care about their dad. No worries, no one's suggesting that you did, but it still causes a trauma in a child. And the trauma, you only realize the trauma mostly when they try and get into relationships. And there's a level of fear of abandonment that you can't soothe them with. Sometimes you just can't soothe them. They just might be overly anxious that you're going to leave them. They might be overly independent and think I don't need you because you might leave at any point. They might be easily triggered and you're thinking I'm doing my best. What's wrong with her? Why won't she calm down? Children need two parents. And when they don't have that, they don't regulate their emotions correctly as an adult. And it's hyper triggered when they're in a relationship and they're finally in love. That's when they behave their worst.
So essentially what you're saying is by having an absent parent, mother or father, you create a chemical imbalance in your brain that now makes you harder to date when you get older unless you deal with your traumas.
Unless you deal with it.
Yeah, so I approached him and I told him there's no way you talk to a
Mr.
woman.
Mitchell, you mind sitting up and getting your feet off my couch?
Oh, what? Oh, my bad. I thought this how it worked. Fix your couch up. Want to mess your stuff up. Yeah.
Tell me what happened next.
Yeah, so an older gentleman stepped in and dispersed things. So I thought that was a good opportunity to calm down and de-escalate the situation. And so, like, right after all that happened, I turned to her and I noticed it wasn't anything that she said, but I just noticed that she was disconnected and disappointed. And when I noticed that, I just spazzed out.
Now, when you turned to her, how did you feel in that moment?
I felt like she was disappointed in me.
How did her disappointment make you feel?
I guess I felt like judged and rejected.
That must have been very difficult. You were trying to protect her, and it seems like the effort was invalidated.
Yeah, but I kind of overreacted.
Well, let's go back to feeling judged and rejected. Did you feel that way because of the disappointment?
Yeah, I was pretty upset. And And when I really think about it, I remember in that moment feeling like I know I've been trying to work on the way I respond to things and really be able to have a little more self-control. So when I reacted that way, I kind of felt like disappointed within myself. And then when I looked at her and saw that she felt that way, that's I feel like that's like really what kind of made me flip out. But when I say that out loud, it makes me kind of think like, why would that be my response? Because why would I be mad at her for being disappointed when I was also disappointed in my response?
Okay, so we know what the disappointment is about. What role do you think rejection plays in this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess when I think about rejection, I feel like if, I'm continuously messing up, she may not want to be with me.
Yes. When you interpreted her reaction as disapproval, that hit a trigger for you. It's fear based. If she sees your flaws, she'll eventually leave.
Oh.
This often leads to a powerful rush of emotion explaining your reaction. Jasmine, I think it's important that you understand that you're deserving of love just for being you.
When they're in a relationship and they're finally in love. That's when they believe their worth.
Do you think this is about my mom?
I'm afraid we're out of time. Let's pick up on that next week.